Happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. You had a good week and been able to have a pretty good start to your summer. This is my channel, and we'll be diving back into the true crime series that I've began for covering different stories. And so I realized with the last episode that there was never a formal name for all of the different types of research and stories that I share on this channel. So after some thinking and creativity, I decided that this would be called the Lighthouse Catalog, or LC for short. I guess the name came about because I want to look into a lot of these lesser known, hidden, kind of under the rug cases, and be able to spread awareness and bring them back to the forefront of the internet and media, so that we can be able to continue to learn valuable lessons from all of the tragedies and be able to improve safety for our communities. So, some videos have been a little too long, like an hour plus, so I want to be more efficient with the time and be able to get a full case covered in 20, maybe 30 minutes. So let's get right into it. We'll be based into a new area today. We'll travel to Fort Lauderdale, and more specifically in the Hollywood area of that city. Along the east coast of Florida, we have a family called the Walshes. And the Walshes were quite a affluent, upper class family during the 1980s. I believe that the father, John Walsh, was a very successful businessman, and he was married to his wife, Reve. And so, with that sort of background in mind, let's see where we begin the story. So, the Walshes were a pretty normal family in the area, just working and spending weekends, going out and enjoying their time together. So, on the date of July 27th, 1981, Reve decided to go to their local mall in Hollywood and to take alongside with her Adam to spend time as son and mother. So one of their stops across their shopping journey was Sears. If you remember what Sears was before they went bankrupt a couple years ago, then go ahead and comment that you are an OG who remembers Sears. Anyways, while they were browsing the store, Reve wanted to go check out some other items in the fashion clothing section, and Adam, he's not too interested in checking out what his mom wants to dress and purchase for her closet. So he, of course, parted ways with Reve to go look at a more interesting section, the toys and video games and other more appealing items of Sears. So with that separation of Reve from Adam, Adam stepped away from his mom to go to that different part of the store. While he was over there, he was just socializing and talking with the other close to his age boys in the area. Adam, at this time in 1981, he was 6 years old, and so Reve didn't just completely ignore Adam. I believe that they were just apart for roughly 10 to 15 minutes, and once Reve wanted to make sure things were okay and just do a quick check on where Adam was inside Sears, she walks by the toys and games section, and she had a revelation that Adam was not in that area anymore. And so Reve, dropped everything she was doing and wanted to look fervently to where Adam could have gone. After searching for the next hour, she began talking to the store management, the employees, and the security working the mall. So allegedly, whenever she was in contact with a security guard working at the store, the guard was allegedly in contact with the boys last, the group of boys, including Adam Walsh, and he noticed the boys were kind of like being mischievous and misbehaving. So, as most kids fooling around inside a shopping mall, they had to be accompanied by some type of adult or parent. So that without that criteria being met, they were forced to leave the store, which allegedly Adam was included in that group of boys who had to be escorted out. So without any trace of Adam being left behind at the store, Reve escalated the missing search to a police report with the Lauderdale police department, or the authorities in the Hollywood area. So, this was quite a shocking situation to be experiencing for not only Reve, but also for John Walsh, Adam's dad. They searched the immediate area around the shopping mall, and still nothing came up in the following days and eventually weeks following the disappearance and the missing person report that was filed. Police immediately wanted to investigate Reve and John, because they always had that slight suspicion that there could be internal disputes for family and arguments and internal things like that. So both the parents, John and Reve, did undergo polygraph tests to make sure that there wasn't anything suspicious or foul play related in their testimonies to what happened to Adam. And other family members of the Walshes were also questioned and interviewed to make sure nothing was unresolved like that. Eventually, the search kept persisting for weeks, months, and long time. The case was turning cold. But later, in August of 1981, something horrible happened. So nearby, and the Canal, Florida Turnpike, two fishermen discovered what appeared to be a decapitated head of a child. And so they immediately reported that to the closest authorities, that this decomposed human head was found near that area. And so with the medical and forensic teams able to give some time to examine it properly, it was eventually concluded that piece of human remains belonged to Adam, unfortunately. So, this was a rather weird situation because only the head was at the site of the body. There were no other pieces of the body at the scene, like other pieces of his torso or limbs, so that's all they had to go off of. Um, in the area, once they thoroughly investigated the Walshes and their relatives, they eventually landed on different distinct suspects. So during this time in 1983, there was a couple scary people in play. One of them being Jeffrey Dahmer, the infamous serial killer based in um, from Wisconsin and different states. He, pred- he targeted a lot of boys and was very closely matching the profile of what the police were looking for, but that didn't turn up anything concrete with the lack of evidence. So, with that kind of suspicion analyzed, they eventually landed on a different male. This was a different criminal based in Florida. His name was Otis Toole. So Toole was quite a abrasive individual. He was frequently in conflict with the law, and on October 10th, 1983, he did get charged with arson of property, and he did serve some time in prison. But during his time behind bars, he actually confessed to the murder of Adam Walsh, and so he claimed that he abducted Adam from a bus station or some place outside of the mall that the family was at on July of that year. And once Toole took away Adam, he kidnapped him, took him away to a different location, and he used a machete to cut off the head of Adam and murder him in that method. So they someone was able to locate where the machete was, and that murder weapon did have traces of blood on it. But Toole himself claimed to have a location to where he disposed of the rest of Adam's body, his body missing its head. But when the police searched that location for the body, nothing turned up. So later on October 26th, Otis Toole recanted his confession and his admission of his relationship to being responsible for the missing case turned into homicide by of Adam Walsh. So Toole, faced a lot of scrutiny for being the primary aggressor of this murder, and so he remained in jail for other charges and everything related to the homicide. So he did eventually die behind bars in 1996. He was what the police were able to primarily attach the guilt to for Adam's case. And one of the biggest advocates for locating Adam and finding out what happened to him was Adam's father, John Walsh. John, was so devastated by his son's tragedy of his abduction and his homicide that he didn't want to see that happen to any other unsuspecting parents, and not only in Florida but across the United States. So, with the toll of his son's death weighing upon him, he decided to be a catalyst and start a program called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. the NCMEC. And so this resource would be available for parents to be able to log their children's details of a parent can more easily file police investigations for situations where their child may have gone missing or become a victim of trafficking and other dangerous crimes. And so this database would serve as a centralized, unified way for police to coordinate across different state lines to be able to get accurate descriptions of the missing individuals and be able to locate them and share investigation leads more smoothly. The sort of difficulty that John and Reve encountered in their experience trying to investigate where Adam was had a lot of obstacles and poor practices of the police for not having a precedent to follow for conducting the investigation efficiently and properly. So, John eventually became a host for a pretty popular true crime show. It was America's Most Wanted. He wanted to use his voice and his time to be able to help prevent crime, specifically, especially for children across America. And so, he began the National Center in 1984, following the sort of the results of Adam's homicide investigation with Otis Toole, and he for the next few decades he would then establish other kind of critical pieces of security and safety for children in communities. And so, like many of you may have heard of before, and a lot of retail areas and stores, there is a guideline and policy that's called Code Adam, named after to honor the memory of Adam Walsh. And so Code Adam specifically details the steps for employees to be able to prevent another abduction of a child. So if a customer walks up to a employee of a store and they report their child as missing from the store premises, all of the employees will receive a notification to block all the exits of the store, to be able to closely monitor everything coming in and out of the store. This includes not only store entrances and customer areas, but also fire exits and employee back rooms and such. And so with that procedure in place, employees will try their best to they'll write down and take note of the clothing and other characteristics of the child when he or she was last seen, and they will attempt to locate the missing boy or girl and bring them back to the parent or guardian. So that was a new procedure established not only in Florida but widespread across many other states that adopted that policy to prevent a future tragedy like Adam's. And that was a very good change for many communities to be able to have more resources and planning to stop any crimes happening against their children. And let's go back to the case with Otis Toole. So even though he was a primary suspect, there were still a lot of loose ends following the mid 1980s and following into the early 2000s. So by 2006, the president worked with John Walsh to establish a federal law that covers children protection and safety. And so those were just more formal pieces of legislation that became established across different cities and states to be able to have more routine and or organized rules to be able to report a child as missing and have the police respond much faster and in a more efficient manner. And then by 2008, in that year, the police did eventually settle on the conclusion that only Otis Toole was responsible for the killing of Adam Walsh, and that there were no other associated accomplices in his abduction and murder. And Otis Toole, even though he had already passed in 1996, there were no other pieces of evidence that led to believe otherwise, that other people were still on the loose. So, that would wrap up the story for Adam Walsh. It's more kind of unknown nowadays to think about how a missing kid situation from the 1980s can still be so very prevalent in this current day. So anytime you encounter more security at the malls or stores that you shop at, just be aware that sometimes you'll see a sign that has the term Code Adam printed on it. It's typically like a dark blue color and it has like a star logo. That's just a signal that the employees and management of that store are trained to conduct a Code Adam situation should that ever arise. And that's my research findings for this Lighthouse catalog case, or LC1, story of Adam Walsh. So I appreciate everybody for listening. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we will catch up again. Bye.